Yo, it's your boy Fro, and today I'm going to be talking about the 2023 flick, Godzilla Minus One. So ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Now let's begin.
3, 2, 1.
Out of the overall Godzilla franchise and filmography, I've only seen about 5 or 6 out of the 33 films or so. I have seen the original 1954 flick, which I really enjoy, and I do think is a fantastic film. And I've seen the more updated American versions, like the 2000 Roland Emmerich film, and the 2014 Gareth Edwards flick that I thought was pretty meh. And I've also come across some of the VHS covers here and there growing up in the video stores, and I'm also aware of some of the branches of the monster like Mechagodzilla, and I know some of the names growing up and through hip-hop references as well. But I'm happy to say that I really enjoyed this movie from start to finish. We've seen Godzilla wreak havoc and cause destruction and tear down buildings countless times. But with this flick, it felt very special and tragic and bleak with the environment that Godzilla is tearing down. Now we're dealing with human characters that are going through the tragic loss and their homes being vanished, their families being killed, and them dealing with it through post-World War II, around 1945. We follow a former kamikaze pilot named Shikishima. Now, this character, I have to say, this was the first film in a very long time for me where I felt so bad for this character. Like, it was very easy for me to be sympathetic for Shikishima. He has a very tragic backstory to him, and he feels like he's a coward inside. Some other people also feel like he's a coward due to a decision that he makes early on in the film without spoiling too much. But it was pretty hard and tough to watch to see this guy beat himself up, going through some PTSD sequences where he's really feeling like he's a coward. And often while I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking, hey man, I don't think you're a coward. It was very easy for me to root for this guy. And I really enjoyed this main character, Shikishima. The family dynamic, as some people have said, is a bit different than what I'm usually used to seeing in a film. Shikishima comes across this young woman who has a baby with her, but turns out the baby isn't hers, and she made a promise to a dying mother that she would take care of the baby, but she comes across Shikishima. Shikishima takes her in. He doesn't really look at her as a love interest. Without spoiling too much, that changes a bit as the film goes on. But the overall family relationship between these three, I thought was pretty touching and sweet, despite how different that I'm used to seeing it in a film. Usually, it would be a traditional, single mother, or they have a family together, like their husband and wife. This one was done in a pretty cool and interesting way. And I did end up feeling for this family because we get to see them grow a bit through a span of 2 or 3 years. Shikishima later works on a minesweeping wooden boat with a team of 3 other folks. I believe their names were Doc, Kid, and Captain. Now, I thought these 3 characters nearly stole the show, and I love their chemistry with Shikishima when they're going in the waters and they're planting the mines, and Shikishima is teaching them how to shoot or that he can nail the mine in the water floating. Like, little things like that I really enjoyed. And I thought these guys, as serious and bleak as this movie is, I thought these guys gave a little bit of light and a little bit of humor into the movie. Like, it's not a funny movie whatsoever. It's really grim and brutal. But the minesweeping crew I really enjoyed because I thought they lightened it up quite a bit. And another interesting thing I thought was pretty cool was why they used the wooden boats. And it's because if they were to use a metallic boat, and if it were to rub up against the metallic mines, boom, it would detonate. So I thought that was cool, and I don't really get to see that often in the film. But the minesweeping crew, including Shikishima, they go to the waters, and they come across Godzilla for the first time. Now, they're pretty adamant they can put a mine into its mouth and blow him to smithereens. And when they try this out, we're revealed that Godzilla can actually regenerate. And these regeneration sequences I thought were pretty creepy. You know, it did have a little bit of a sci-fi feeling to it for sure, but I was pretty shocked. I was like, yo, oh shit, this motherfucker can regenerate. And the overall ocean sequences I thought were fantastic because the movie did a great job of putting an emphasis on how gigantic Godzilla is and how threatening he is in this film. Just the way that he would rise out of the water, it gave me chills for sure. And the sound design, for a quick note, I also thought was very done well. And another angle that I really enjoyed from this movie was how the townspeople and the Japanese folk were coming together to defeat Godzilla. They weren't putting their trust in the government. They were like, nah, the government's going to lead us to rot, so it's up to us. And near the finale, how they all come together, and I'm not going to spoil too much, but super chills, like goosebumps up the wazoo. I really enjoyed the finale. The finale kicked ass. And I found the overall ending to be very emotional from my viewing. If I have any nitpicks, like at all, from me personally, I would say maybe some of the CGI on Godzilla could be a little bit dodgy here and there, but it wasn't a big distraction for me because I enjoyed his overall screen time. He's not throughout the film. Like, if you're expecting him to pop up every 5 minutes, nowhere near that, because we do focus on the human characters, but we focus on characters that are actually either likable, sympathetic, or you do root for them. So when Godzilla doesn't pop up, I didn't mind it at all because I was interested and invested in the characters. But when Godzilla comes to create mayhem, the sequences do pop off. So we do have our fair share of action in this film as well. But to wrap it up, coming from somebody who might not have the best knowledge with the overall Godzilla filmography and the lore and the backstory, etc., I have seen a handful of films, including the original, but there's so many to keep track of for me personally. I had a blast with -1. I thought this movie was fantastic. It kicked ass. Human characters that were very sympathetic and easy to root for. The movie does a very good job at painting how bleak the environment is. And it was so badass to hear the Godzilla theme in one of the sequences where he goes havoc in the city. But I'm going to give Godzilla -1 a very strong 9 out of 10. And that's it, y'all, from your boy Fro. What did you think about -1? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment below. Let me know thoughts. Until then, I'm out. Fro Thizzle. On to the next review.